Welcome in, everyone. We have many topics to talk about today, dealing with Trump, the military, the border, the cartels. We have a pretty interesting, fun update we're going to go over. Well, maybe fun's not the right word, but it's certainly interesting. Before we get into all that and more, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment with your thoughts. You guys are the reason that we're having some success. You guys are the reason people are paying attention. It has very little to do with me, so the more you comment, like, and subscribe, the more it rises up what we're doing, raises up what we're doing, sharing the stories of American heroes, and bringing you the news that deals with our little small sector of fire, if you will. So I'm filming this on January 26th. It is the morning of January 26th. This comes days after Trump signed an executive order on his first day in office, closing down the border essentially, and declaring the drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, which, as we talked about before, allows his toolbox to get a little bit bigger, allows him to reach in there and have different options that he can use to target these people, to make sure what they're doing, the poison they're pushing over the border. We can cut the head off of the snake. We can stop that right there. Now, there's been a lot of debates about whether or not the military should be used. So far, 1,500 active duty troops have been deployed, including 500 Marines, have been deployed to the border to plus up whatever forces were already there. They're flying people out of the country in military planes. They are getting the worst of the worst they've captured. They are getting them out. They are leaving. They are out. And the biggest question remains, is the president going to use Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, Task Force Orange, name the special operations unit you want? Are we going to use our special operations units to target and take out these cartels? I don't want to go all lioness on you here, but that's what people want to know. We have the best military in the world. No military in the world can touch what the United States military can do, whether it's air power, naval power, ground combat operations, special operations, intelligence gathering. No military or government around the world can do what we do, and people want to know, hey, we're paying for this massive military. Are we going to go out and use it? And I personally, as I've talked about before, think the answer to that question is yes. I think you will see targeted strikes against the cartels, whether it be Delta Force, whether it be SEAL Team 6, Ground Branch, Special Activities Division of the CIA, whatever it might be. I think at some point you are going to see those strikes unfold. I think you are going to see action taken against the cartels. But I thought to myself, why am I just the only one talking about this? Let's see what the people think. So I run a poll on my X/Twitter feed, X formerly known as Twitter. You can follow me there at D Hookstead. We like to have a lot of fun over there. And I asked right here, should President Donald Trump use the military and special operations units to target and destroy drug cartels? 3,566 votes. 95% voted yes. Let me repeat that to you. Should President Donald Trump use the military and special operations units to target and destroy drug cartels? Almost 3,600 voters. 95% voted yes. 95% voted that they want to see President Trump directly target the cartels, hit them with the U.S. military, hit them with special operations, hit them with air power. They want to see action. Almost 3,600 voters. 95% voted they want to see something happen. And that right there tells me that the American people are with President Trump. Again, it's one poll. It's not scientific. It's just on my X account. But that tells me that there is support, broad support, for doing something about these drug cartels. And why wouldn't there be broad support? These people push their poison over the border. They push their violence over the border. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say we're sick of it. We're sick of the carnage, chaos, and pain and suffering these cartels are responsible for. Something must be done. And when I run a poll and almost 3,600 people vote, and 95% of people vote, yeah, we need to do something, hit them with the military. When's the last time 95% of Americans were in agreement about anything. I certainly can't remember. Has that ever happened? Again, it's just one poll. And I want to address for a moment people who might worry that we're not capable of knocking out the drug cartels. Let's send a clear message. The United States military is the strongest military in the world. The United States military is capable of doing things no other military in the world can dream of. Our logistics are unmatched. You know, there's Ryan Macbeth likes to say the military is a logistics organization that dabbles in a little bit of warfare. There's a lot of truth to that. You hear the stories from World War II where the Germans would find food that had just been shipped days earlier and had made it all the way to the front. Germans couldn't even feed their soldiers. German POWs gained weight in American POW camps. We had, there's the famous story of the floating ice cream ship out in the Pacific. Our military is capable of doing whatever it wants when it decides that that's what we're going to do. Now, people will point to Afghanistan and say, well, what about Afghanistan? What about Afghanistan? That was a political failure. From a military standpoint, the United States military crushed them. And then it turned into almost a policing action, turned into a political quagmire. But from a military standpoint, the U.S. military rocked and rolled. Same thing with Iraq. Same thing with Syria. Don't confuse political problems with military problems. They're not the same thing. From a military standpoint, I'm going to read it to you again. Should President Donald Trump use the military and special operations units to target and destroy drug cartels? 3,566 votes. 95% voted yes. 95% voted yes. Our ability to fuse air power, naval power, guys on the ground, intelligence, comms, logistics, no military in the world could dream of what we do. So I don't want to hear too much about how the United States military is not capable of doing it. The wars overseas have winded down. We're not in Afghanistan. We have small footprints in the Middle East. We do need to focus on China. We do need to build up for that. But we have a massive military, a well-funded military, the world's best funded military, the best trained, the best equipped, the best fed, the best people. It's time. 95% of people in that poll wanted to see action against the cartels, military action. They want to see people get knocked around. And I don't blame them, because we've allowed these people to push their poison, push their violence, push their carnage, push their chaos across the border. They've destroyed lives. They've destroyed families. And as far as I'm concerned, and I'm just speaking for me, we saw in the news a few days ago, a couple hikers allegedly were attacked by members of the cartel on our side of the border. That's an automatic green light. You come over here and you target American citizens and you hurt American citizens, it's game over. At that point, a message has to be sent. At that point, the President of the United States, President Donald Trump, has to remind people who the superpower is, has to remind people who's running the show. And people will say, well, but the drug cartels, they're well armed. They have intelligence. They have armored vehicles. All of that's true. All of that's true. I'm still telling you, when two Blackhawks and a couple Little Birds and an Apache gunship show up in the middle of the night to some guy's villa and he thinks he's untouchable, they have no idea what we're capable of. None. Zero. You think the movie Sicario was a small example of what we can do? That's going to look like a picnic if Trump picks up the phone and says, we're hitting them. That's just the fact of the matter. And so for anyone who doubts the United States military's resolve or the resolve of the American spirit, I'd ask you to reconsider. Because at the end of the day, if Trump picks up the phone and orders that, our military will conduct it in a professional fashion, they will carry out their duties, and they will keep the American public safe. And there is nothing, not one thing, Not one thing those cartels can do to stop it. They are going to get crushed. And after the things they've done and the lives they've ruined, they deserve it. The kids aren't running the show anymore. We already sent troops to the border. There's reportedly a lot more coming. The 82nd Airborne, reportedly, the 10th Mountain Division. We're not playing games. And is this a negotiating tactic to get Mexico to do something? Possibly. It could be. I don't know. But I know this. We're the superpower. And when we tell them to jump, the answer better be how high. And if President Trump says 95% of people in that poll would agree with it, I want to take one of these guys out, I want to take a cartel leader out, there's nowhere they can hide. When Tier 1 assets show up, it's not a matter of if you get caught, it's a matter of when and how bad it's going to be for you. And after the carnage and chaos that those cartels have unleashed on the American public, as far as I'm concerned, they deserve every single thing that's going to happen to them. If Trump makes that call, which 95% of people in my Twitter poll, you can follow me at D Hookstead, D in my last name. As far as I'm concerned, they got it coming to them. And 95% of people want to see it happen in that poll. The days of allowing those criminals to poison our people, to kill our people, need to come to an end. And when 95% of people come together and say, yeah, we want to see this happen, it tells me there's broad support. I mean, obviously, the first steps have already been taken. The question now is what comes next. And if they come in here and hurt American citizens, it's a green light. It is an absolute 100% green light. We have the world's best military. We spend an incredible amount of money on it, an incredible amount of money on technology, equipment, training. The wars overseas have winded down. It's time. 95% of people in that poll want to see something happen. I agree with them 100%. 100%. Now the question is, what will Trump do? I don't have the answer to that. My theory is you are going to see people get hit. You're going to see cartels get hit. And it's going to be brutal for them. It's going to be brutal. And maybe it should be brutal after all the things they've done to us. We'll see. I want to hear your predictions in the comments. Comment below. Let me know what you think Trump's going to do, how you think he's going to use the military to go after the cartels. And if you made it this far, please make sure to like and subscribe. I will catch y'all next time. But comment below with how you think Trump is going to deal with the cartels after 95% of people in that poll said they want to see something happen. I'll catch y'all next time.